Today on Ballard's Best, we're going to Reubens.
Yeah. All right, hey Adam, thanks so much for having us out.
Thanks for coming.
We're excited to get to know you guys a little bit better and Reubens and see a little bit about the new shop. I remember when Reubens was really small in the gosh, you must have been off of 14th and 52nd. What is it?
53rd. Yeah.
53rd.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then you moved across the street. And now you opened this facility.
Yep.
You guys could have opened shop in almost any place. Why Ballard?
Because we live just up the road over there. It's literally purely selfish.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're from here. Well, I wasn't born here with this accent, right? But so we live really close. Our kids go to school just across the street as well. And so when we were looking for places, we wanted to be within that sort of local neighborhood zone.
Yeah. And luckily enough, Ballard's one of the only places that has that kind of industrial ability to do that.
Transitional sort of area, right? From industrial to neighborhoods to residential to it's kind of nice fitting for breweries.
Right, that neighborhood feel. Everybody kind of feels like that sense of community. How long have you guys been in the area?
So, my wife and I bought our house in 2007.
Nice. Okay.
And we opened the brewery in 2012.
Wow.
Yeah. So
okay.
and
what was the landscape in the neighborhood for breweries back then?
So we were the first brewery in kind of the northeast part of Ballard. So
that Gilman Park kind of area.
Yeah. So when Grace and I, my wife and co-founder, we spent 2 nights. We found the first space that you talked about.
Yeah.
We found that and we spent 2 nights like deliberating. Should we be that side of 15th or not? Because at that point there were 3 breweries on the other side, and we would have been all by ourselves, right, on the other side. We thought, well, we'll give it a go, and if it doesn't work out, Reuben is 2 years old. We named the brewery after our son, and he can just like ride his bike around this space until the lease runs out. I was keeping my day job, so like it wasn't the end of the world. So we gave it a go, and now I think there'll be 7 or 8 breweries in that kind of part of Ballard.
Yeah, I've heard between 11 and 14 breweries in Ballard total.
In the whole,
and more coming.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they just started Urban Families down there the other day.
Yeah.
And so, you guys moved into did you live in the Ballard before 2007?
I moved to the U.S. in 2004.
Okay.
So, and Grace moved from New Jersey, New York area in 06. So so we basically have almost always been here.
In Ballard. Yeah, perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so with the breweries and your guys' locations, 14th has really turned out to be kind of a thoroughfare into brewery town, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys find that like just the you guys being there and with that community, do you see a lot of different people coming through and going to all the breweries, and like how do you guys feel about like what's happened in that neighborhood now?
Yeah, it's become a destination neighborhood, right? So people who like beer or want to come and see beer come to the area. So we get a lot of beer tourism now.
Yeah.
So like brings people into the area.
Is it more than just the cycle bikes?
Oh yeah. So like in the summer, about 70% of people that come in are people who haven't been in regularly, right? So it's like a lot of people are coming to go and try the different breweries. We have the Ballard Passport now, so where you can get like gifts if you go to a certain amount of breweries. So that's running us all together.
Stamp those passports. Go to all the different spots. I love that so much.
Yeah. What is it? The rising suds lift all breweries sort of thing.
Is that like?
There's a lot of strength in us all being together in terms of being a draw for people.
Yeah.
But also, like if we're short of a hop or a malt, then we can ask our friends. and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like we've got a full-time lab team now, so we can help out one of the other breweries when they're doing a canning run, like literally earlier this week, about doing some tests as they're actually doing the canning run, and vice versa. Some of the, like Fremont helps us if we need some help on certain things.
Oh yeah, because Fremont's got the big facility over here now too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And with Ballard, 'cause I always view Ballard's a really interesting place to me because we all just call it Ballard. But it is like the Gilman Park edition, it's West Woodland, it's Sunset Hill, it's Crown Hill. There's a bunch of different little pockets and neighborhoods. Stumbletown, right? That's up the street. Do you guys connect with and work with like certain people in the community often? Because I know breweries are so community driven. What's that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so for us, if we go back to 2012, we just opened. I was still doing my day job, and we were getting a lot of people asking for donations, but we didn't even have enough beer to open 4 days a week in the tap room, right? So what we came up with was a program that I got the inspiration from a national conference, which is called Thank You Thursday. And so every week we invite a different local charity in and donate $1 per pint from that day to their charity. So like we'll have one again today. It's a cat charity next week, right? So it's about trying to stop cat homelessness in the Puget Sound. So it's lots of different charities, and that way we can do our little bit, right? We've I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but last year we broke $100,000 in cash donations that we've given to charities since starting it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a nice thing to do. And then things like sponsoring the Ballard Seafood Fest, by donating kegs and stuff like that. So we can always do more. There's always more need, but we've got distinct programs to help.
It's nice to have a program like that where you can say, hey, this, especially pulling it from somebody else who's done it, it works, and you can apply it here and say, hey, we're going to sponsor a charity. All you got to do is come in, and then you can work with people that you want to work with and give them an opportunity that you wouldn't be able to necessarily work with that many charities if it wasn't set up this way, right?
Yeah. No, that's the fun part. And then Grace and I sometimes do like speaking roles. So like she presented at the Sunset Club, so a women's club earlier this week, talking about the beer industry and the challenges and the opportunities. I have a local group of younger finance people. They're going to come in next month, and I'm going to present to them about like beer from a finance angle. That's a Seattle group.
Interesting.
So it's nice to do those sorts of things as well.
I think that's the thing that people don't like. Everybody that operates a small business, you get into it for the passion, you get into it for the fun, and then it's like, hey, guess what? It's actually a business. So now you also have to wear that hat as accountant, as how do you feed the people that work for you and all the other stuff.
So it's funny on that because I talk about it like you do everything. Right, and then you hire somebody and they do this role, but you still do everything. So if it doesn't fit in anybody's job, it's for you to do. Whether that's the backup of the toilets and you need to find a plunger for it, or last week the restroom exhaust fan stopped working. So I had to figure out how to sort that out. Well, first of all, I had to figure out what the issue was.
Right.
So I'm not trained in restroom exhaust fans, but nobody else is, so I got to figure it out.
You got to make that call. Do that work.
It's not all that glamorous.
No. I heard I can't remember what it was. It was some podcast or something, and he was the CEO of some big company, and he was like, "Look, I still clean all the toilets because I don't want anybody to think that it's beneath me."
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a different kind of leadership, right? And so that's awesome. And then, so tell me a little bit about kind of how you went from the first facility to the second, and then and then coming over here. Because just coming in to find you this morning, I was like, whoa, there's a lot going on in here. It's a big facility. Yeah.
It's almost sometimes like a film set because it's like there's so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
That is that really spontaneous? But it is. But even here, we don't have enough space to fit everything in. So when we started, I was a home brewer and won some national awards and local awards, and we had people asking us for our beer. So, but I had a nice job, right? So we got kind of pulled into it. So we started in a space that we felt comfortable in. But I say I was pulled into it because it wasn't that I just didn't like my day job and I needed to do something different. I like my day job and I love brewing, and people love drinking our beer, so let's do that, you know?
How do you, yeah.
And then 6 months later we were at capacity and I needed to find a bigger space. And
wow.
That's when I said, okay, I better quit the day job and try and find another space. And this is obviously working kind of well. So it took 2 years to find the other space, because that was back in 2013, 14, and then the commercial real estate was really tight and there wasn't really much opportunity. There was 4 places that we put bids on or had accepted bids on that fell through for various reasons.
Yeah.
We found our new space, but even that was smaller than we were looking for, but we just had to find something.
Okay.
And then we were within 5 weeks of that space, we were producing the plan that we thought we'll be at within 5 years. So it's like, oh. So we ran out of capacity there real quick.
Wow.
And then this space came up, and so we've grown a lot. Like that first year that we were open, 2012, we now have one tank here can fit all of that beer that we made in that whole of that first year. Like that's kind of humbling when you see, oh yeah, that took a lot of work to fill that like a few years ago.
And
but
now it's just that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's awesome. And so you don't have enough space now.
No, so every time we've built a space, we've been kind of at capacity and then we've fitted into it. So like this year we're up 55% this year as we open this space. But like this, we think that this will get close to being maxed out in 2 years when we add the extra tanks in and stuff. But at some point you have to kind of think, is it work-life balance, right?
Right. That was going to be my next question. Like, it sounds like it's still fun. But where does that, get increase?
Well, that's where it comes back to. Like, we opened here because we live here. The kids go to school here, and we want to work here, right? That's kind of like the perfect triumvirate or whatever. But I walk to work every day. Yeah. Right? I can walk the kids to school.
It's so funny.
I
mean, Adam over at Skull, he basically said the same thing. I can walk to work every day. I know Laura at Stoop lives super close too, and so like it's kind of a theme that I'm starting to see is like Ballard really is like it really is about the neighborhood. There's something special about being here. Yeah. And doing everything that you possibly can not to go anywhere else. It's kind of a move away from the commuter culture, right? Yeah. It's like it makes so much sense, and I think city planners are trying to do that as well, like to encourage that. It reduces the traffic loads, and it makes sense. I could definitely nerd out on that. I mean, there's some stuff that's been happening since 1995 that is just now starting to come into fruition in the neighborhoods. Which definitely touches on that. But what I wanted to ask you was, and you kind of circled back to it, living in the neighborhood, kids going to school in the neighborhood, walking to work, with Ballard the way that it is, and your guys' business set up, and being such a hub of the community. I'm sure you see a lot of the same people come in, and a lot of come out to the different events and support you guys that way. When we were putting this together, because I know it took a little bit, it always does, that's the way it is, because people got to make time for stuff. Was there anything that you thought we might talk about that we didn't get a chance to, or any direction? Because it's kind of like we're just left to have a chat and and talk about the brewery and the neighborhood and why it's awesome. But is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have?
I think we didn't talk about some of the events the breweries do together, right?
Oh, cool, yeah, for sure.
So like we have an Oktoberfest event coming up in the next few weeks, and
I know about it, but maybe other people don't. I'm excited.
So we have an band that will start at our brewery and end up at Popular via Stoop and Lucky Envelope, and they'll play at each place and take a a number of people along with
That's
them,
so
and
fun.
we do a number of events with all the breweries, so it sort of is a fun camaraderie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's it's a great place to be.
Yeah, yeah, super fun. Well, man, I so appreciate, because I know that you guys are busy here. You got 3 facilities that you're running. You carved out time for us.
And thank you for carving your time out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pumped. So I really
cheers.
appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.